Get away from my children! Sarah's scream tore through the diner. Her body slammed between her twins and the man in the expensive black coat. His cold eyes measured her children like merchandise. His words still echoed in her skull. There are people who pay good money for twins. $20. That's all she had. $20 to feed two hungry 6-year-olds on Christmas Eve. She never expected a monster would follow her inside. She never expected what happened next. The door crashed open. 5 Hell's Angels walked in. The scarred giant leading them locked eyes with the man threatening her children. And everything changed. Before I continue, please subscribe to my channel and follow this story to the end. Comment below which city you're watching from so I can see how far this story has traveled. Sarah's fingers were numb. She didn't care. All she could think about was the crumpled bill in her pocket. $20. That was it. That was everything. Mommy, come on. Ethan pulled her hand. It's cold out here. She looked down at her twins, 6 years old, thin jackets, hollow cheeks. They'd walked 14 blocks through the snow because she couldn't afford the bus. 14 blocks on Christmas Eve. She pushed open the diner door. Heat rushed over her like a wave. Her frozen skin burned. The smell of coffee and fried eggs filled her nose. Christmas music played from a crackling speaker somewhere. Families laughed in booths. Kids ate pancakes with chocolate chips. A waitress looked up. 50s. Tired eyes. Name tag said Rosa. Sit anywhere, hun. Sarah nodded. She guided the twins toward the corner booth. The one against the wall. The one where nobody would look at them too closely. They slid in. The vinyl seat was warm. Emma sighed with relief. Mommy, look. Ethan pointed across the diner. That boy has bacon, real bacon. And pancakes, Emma added. With whipped cream. Sarah's throat closed up. She used to make them pancakes every Sunday. David would flip them while she fried the eggs. The twins would fight over the first piece of bacon. That was before. Before the fire took. Before the hospital bills. Before she lost everything. Rosa dropped 3 menus on the table. Take your time, sweetheart. She walked away. Sarah opened the menu. Her heart stopped. Soup and bread. $8.99. Cheapest thing on the menu. 2 orders. $17.98. Plus tax. She'd have nothing left. Maybe $1, maybe less. Mommy, can I get the cheeseburger? Ethan asked. $12.99. Or chicken fingers, Emma said. Please, I've been good. $11.99. Sarah's hands started shaking. She gripped the menu harder. Let me look okay. Just give me a minute. Under the table, she reached into her pocket, touched the bill. Still there. Still not enough. Mommy? Emma's voice dropped. Are you okay? Sarah realized her eyes were wet. She wiped them fast. I'm fine. The cold just got to me. She forced a smile. The same fake smile she'd been wearing for 8 months. The same one she wore when she told them Daddy wasn't coming home. I think we should get the soup, she said. It's really warm, and we can share, like an adventure. The twins looked at each other, that twin look, the one where they talked without words. Ethan nodded slowly. Okay, Mommy. Sarah raised her hand. Excuse me, we're ready. Rosa walked over, pen ready. What'll it be? 1 soup, 1 bread. Rosa's pen stopped. She looked at Sarah, then at the twins, then back at Sarah. Just 1 for all 3 of you. Sarah's face burned. Yes. And to drink. Water is fine. Rosa's expression changed. Something soft, something painful. Honey, I could... Just the soup, please. Rosa nodded and walked away. Emma tugged Sarah's sleeve. Mommy, there's 2 of us. How do we share 1 soup? You and Ethan share. I already ate. No, you didn't. You said this morning you weren't hungry. You said that yesterday, too. Sarah's chest ached. 6 years old and already too smart. I'll eat later, baby. I promise. The door slammed open. Cold wind blasted through the diner. Napkins flew off tables. Every head turned. Sarah grabbed her children and pulled them close. 5 men walked in. No, not men. Giants. Black leather jackets. Patches everywhere. Chains hanging from their belts. Beards thick and gray. arms like tree trunks. Hell's Angels! The words screamed across their backs. The leader was the biggest, 6'4" at least, shoulders like a truck, silver beard, a scar running from his eyebrow to his cheek, eyes so blue they looked like ice the diner went dead silent. A woman at a nearby table grabbed her kid's hand. An old man stopped chewing. Rosa froze behind the counter. Sarah pushed Emma and Ethan behind her. "Mommy," Ethan whispered. "Who are they?" "Shh, don't look." But she couldn't stop looking. The bikers walked to the corner booth. Their boots shook the floor. They sat down, hard leather creaking against vinyl. One of them laughed. The sound echoed like thunder. Rosa approached them slowly. Her hands were shaking. "What can I get you?" The leader didn't look at the menu. "Coffee, black, 5 cups, and whatever's hot." His voice sounded like rocks grinding together. Rosa practically ran to the kitchen. Sarah's heart was pounding. She needed to feed her kids and get out. Now, she raised her hand. "Excuse me, our order." Rosa hurried over with a bowl of soup and 1 piece of bread. Steam rose from the bowl. "Here you go, hon." She set it down and rushed away. The twins leaned forward. Their eyes went wide. "It's so warm," Emma whispered. "Can we eat now?" Ethan asked. "Yes, take turns with the spoon." They dove in, Emma first, then Ethan, back and forth. The soup disappeared fast, too fast. Sarah watched every bite, her own stomach twisted with hunger. She hadn't eaten in 2 days. The dizziness had started this morning. Emma broke the bread in half. She held out a piece. "Mommy here, please." "That's for you and Ethan." "But you always say sharing is caring." Sarah's eyes burned. "Okay, just a little." She took the smallest bite. It was stale. It was hard. It was the best thing she had ever tasted. Across the diner, something changed. The big biker, the one with the scar, was watching her. Not just glancing, watching. His ice blue eyes fixed on her table like he was solving a puzzle. Sarah looked away fast. Her pulse raced. "Mommy, that man's staring at us," Ethan said. "Don't look at him." "But why is he on?" "Ethan, eat your soup." She could feel his eyes on her, could feel him watching her count the money under the table, watching her refuse to eat, watching her lie to her children. What did he want? The bikers were talking among themselves, laughing, joking, but not him. The leader just sat there, staring. Then he stood up. The chair scraped against the floor. The sound cut through the diner like a knife. His friends looked up. "Stone, what's up?" He didn't answer. He just started walking toward Sarah's table. Her blood turned to ice. He was big, so big. Each step made the floor vibrate. His shadow fell over her before he even reached the table. Sarah pushed Emma and Ethan behind her. "Please," she said, "we don't want trouble." Stone stopped. Up close, he was terrifying. His hands could crush her skull. The patches on his vest meant things she didn't understand. President, 1%er, Hell's Angels. "That soup," he said. "That all you're eating?" His voice was rough, but not angry, something else. "We're fine, please." "I asked a question." Sarah swallowed hard. "Yes, that's all." "You eating?" She couldn't lie. His eyes told her he already knew. "No." Stone was quiet for a second. Then he turned to Rosa. "Hey, bring these kids the biggest meal you got. Turkey, potatoes, gravy, all of it. Pie, hot chocolate, and give their mama a full plate too." Rosa's jaw dropped. "Sir, I'm paying. Move." Sarah's mouth opened. "No, we can't accept." "Why not?" "Because I don't know you, because I can't pay you back. Because..." "Lady," Stone's voice dropped, "I'm not asking for anything back. It's Christmas Eve. Your kids are hungry. You're hungry. Let me buy you dinner." Tears spilled down Sarah's cheeks before she could stop them. Why would you do this?" Stone was quiet for a long moment. When he spoke, his voice was different, softer, rougher, like it hurt to say the words. 40 years ago, my mama sat in a diner like this. 2 kids, no money, no food. Some stranger bought us dinner." He paused. "I never forgot." Emma tugged Sarah's sleeve. "Mommy, can we have the turkey, please?" Sarah looked at her daughter, then at Ethan, then at this terrifying man who was offering them a miracle. Okay, she whispered. Thank you. Stone nodded once. Then he walked back to his table. His friend stared at him. The hell was that? One asked. Shut up and drink your coffee. 20 minutes later, the table was covered with food. Turkey, real turkey, mashed potatoes drowning in gravy, green beans, cranberry sauce, warm rolls, hot chocolate with whipped cream. The twins stared like they'd never seen food before. Mommy, Ethan breathed, is this real? Yes, baby. Can we eat? Sarah laughing, actually laughed. Yes, eat. They dove in. Hands, faces, no manners, no care, just two starving children finally getting to eat. Gravy on their chins, potatoes in their hair, chocolate on their noses. They didn't care. Sarah ate too. Real food, hot food, food that filled the empty hole in her stomach. She looked across the diner at Stone. He was watching again, but this time when their eyes met, he gave a small nod. She nodded back. For 20 minutes, everything was perfect. Then the door opened. A man walked in. Black coat, expensive, slicked back hair, sharp face, cold eyes that calculated everything they touched. Two big men flanked him, suits too tight, bulges under their jackets. Sarah looked up. Her face went white. No, she whispered. No, not here. Emma noticed. Mommy, what's wrong? The man in the black coat scanned the room. His eyes passed over the bikers. Dismissed them. Landed on Sarah. He smiled. Mrs. Mitchell, what a surprise. Sarah stood so fast her chair almost fell. She pushed the twins behind her. Mr. Caruso, please. Not tonight. Not in front of my children. Vincent Caruso walked closer. His smile didn't reach his eyes. Is that any way to greet me? Especially when you owe me so much money. I told you I'll get it. I just need more time. Time. He laughed, soft, dangerous. 6 months of time. 6 months of excuse. 6 months of nothing. Sarah's voice cracked. My husband is dead. He died saving a child from a fire. I lost my job. I lost my house. I have nothing left. Not nothing. Caruso looked past her at the twins. Beautiful children. How old are they? 6. Sarah's blood went cold. Don't. Children are expensive. If you can't pay me, maybe you can't afford them. There are people who pay good money for twins. Something snapped in Sarah. Her hand moved before she knew it. The slap echoed through the diner. Caruso's head snapped sideways. A red mark bloomed on his cheek. His smile disappeared. Stupid woman, he hissed. Do you know what you just did? His bodyguard stepped forward. Touch her and I'll break every bone in your bodies. Everyone froze. Stone was standing. His 4 brothers stood with him. 5 Hell's Angels, all of them staring at Caruso like wolves staring at a rabbit. Caruso turned slowly. This isn't your business. I just made it my business. Stone walked forward, each step deliberate. You threatened a woman. You threatened children. In front of me. You don't know who I am. I know exactly what you are. Stone stopped inches from Caruso's face. A loan shark. A coward. A man who threatens kids because he can't fight his own battles. Caruso's jaw tightened. You'll regret this. Maybe. Stone leaned closer. His voice dropped to a whisper. But not tonight. Tonight you're going to walk out that door. Get in your gun. Drive away and forget this woman exists. And if I don't, Stone smiled. It was the scariest thing Sarah had ever seen. Then they'll find pieces of you in 3 different counties. Silence. The bodyguards had their hands inside their jackets, but they weren't moving. They were looking at the bikers, really looking. These weren't random thugs. These were killers. They could see it. They could feel it. After a long moment, Caruso stepped back. This isn't over, he said to Sarah. I always collect. He walked out. His bodyguards followed. The door swung shut. Silence. Stone turned to Sarah. She was shaking so hard she could barely stand. The twins were crying in the booth. You okay? Sarah shook her head. She couldn't speak. That man, what does he want? Money. Her voice was barely a whisper. My husband borrowed $5,000 from him. I didn't know until after he died. The interest, It's 8,000 now. And he threatened your kids. He's done it before. He says if I can't pay, he'll take them. Stone's jaw tightened. He looked at his brothers. Something passed between them. Then he looked back at Sarah. Get your kids. You're coming with us. Sarah's eyes went wide. What? That man won't stop. You know that. He'll find you again. Next time I might not be... But I don't know you. I can't just... My name is Marcus Brennan. People call me Stone. I'm president of the Hells Angels Pennsylvania chapter. And I just made you my responsibility. Why? Stone was quiet for a moment. When he spoke, his voice was rough. Because no one did it for my mother. And I won't let your kids see what I saw. Sarah looked at her children. Terrified. Confused. Looking at her for answers. She had no good choices. Only bad ones and worse ones. Okay, she heard herself say. Okay, Stone nodded. He threw a handful of bills on the counter and headed for the door. Let's go. Sarah gathered her children. Mommy, where are we going? Emma asked. Sarah looked at Stone's back, at the Hells Angels patch, at the man who had just saved them from a monster. Somewhere safe, baby. She had no idea if it was true, but for the first time in 8 months, she felt something she thought she'd lost. Hope. The cold hit Sarah's face the moment she stepped outside. Snow was falling harder now. The twins pressed against her legs, shivering. Stone pointed to a black SUV parked at the curb. Get in. Sarah hesitated. Every instinct screamed at her to run. But run where? Back to her empty apartment. Back to waiting for Caruso. Mommy, I'm scared, Emma whispered. Sarah picked her up. I know, baby. Me too. She walked to the SUV. One of the bikers opened the back door. Sarah climbed in with the twins. The seats were leather. Warm air blasted from the vents. Stone got in the driver's seat. Another biker, younger with a red beard, took the passenger side. Jake called the others, Stone said. Tell them we're bringing guests. Jake pulled out his phone and got it. The engine roared to life. The SUV pulled away from the curb. Sarah watched the diner disappear through the rear window. Rosa stood at the door watching them go. She made the sign of the cross. Where are we going? Sarah asked. Somewhere safe. That's not an answer. Stone glanced at her in the rearview mirror. Our clubhouse. Outside the city. Caruso can't touch you there. How do you know? Because if he tries, he dies. Sarah went quiet. She held the twins tighter. Ethan looked up at her. Mommy, are we in trouble? No, baby. We're okay. Is the mean man going to find us? Sarah's chest tightened. She couldn't lie. Not to those eyes. I don't know. Stone's voice cut through the silence. He won't. Not tonight. Ethan looked at him. Promise? Yeah. Stone met his eyes in the mirror. Yeah, kid. I promise. Something in his voice made Sarah believe him. She didn't know why. She didn't know anything about this man. But something in his voice made her believe. They drove in silence for 10 minutes. The city lights faded behind them. The road got darker. Trees closed in on both sides. Jake turned around. So what's the story with Caruso? Not now, Stone said. Come on, brother. If we're protecting her, we need to know what we're protecting her from. Stone was quiet for a moment. Then he looked at Sarah in the mirror. He's right. We need to know everything. Sarah took a breath. The twins were falling asleep against her sides, exhausted from the fear and the food. My husband, she started. David, he was a firefighter. 8 months ago, there was a fire in an apartment building downtown. A little girl was trapped on the 3rd floor. David went in after her. She paused. Her voice cracked. He got her out. He saved her life. But the floor collapsed on his way back. He was in the hospital for 3 weeks before he died. Jake whistled low. Jesus. The medical bills were almost $200,000. I lost my nursing job because I took too much time off. Then we lost the house. Then I found out about the loan. What loan? Stone asked. $5,000. David borrowed it from Caruso 2 months before he died. I didn't know. He never told me. Sarah's voice broke. He was trying to pay for the twins' medical checkups. We'd fallen behind on everything. He was desperate. Stone's hands tightened on the steering wheel, and now Caruso wants it back, with interest. $8,000 now? It goes up every month. I can't pay it. I can barely feed my children. He mentioned taking the kids, Jake said. What did he mean? Sarah's whole body tensed. He's threatened it before. He says if I can't pay, he'll find other ways to collect. He says there are people who pay money for children. Jake turned to Stone. Brother, you hearing this? Stone didn't answer. His jaw was tight. His eyes were fixed on the road. This guy's running a trafficking operation. Jake continued. That's not just loan sharking. I know what it is. So what do we do? Stone was quiet for a long moment. When he spoke, his voice was cold. We protect the woman and the kids first. Then we find out everything Caruso's into. Then we ended it. Jake nodded slowly. The brothers won't like it, getting involved in this kind of heat. The brothers will do what I tell them. And if they don't, Stone looked at him. You want to find out? Jake raised his hands. Just asking, brother. Just asking. They drove another 15 minutes in silence. The twins were fully asleep now, their small bodies limp and warm against Sarah's sides. She looked at Stone's reflection in the mirror. Can I ask you something? Go ahead. In the diner, you said your mother was in the same situation. 2 kids, no money. Someone helped her. Stone didn't respond. What happened to her? Silence, long and heavy. She died, Stone finally said. When I was 12, cancer. Couldn't afford treatment. I'm sorry. Don't be, it was a long time ago. And the person who helped her? The stranger who bought you dinner. Stone's grip on the steering wheel tightened. Never saw him again. Don't know his name. Don't know anything about him. Just remember his face. Why, Ma? Because that one meal. Stone paused. That one meal kept us going for another month. My mother kept talking about it. Kept saying there were still good people in the world. Kept saying we'd make it through. His voice dropped. She didn't, but I did. And I never forgot what that stranger did. Sarah was quiet. She understood now. This wasn't charity. This wasn't kindness for kindness' sake. This was something deeper, something personal. So you became a Hell's Angel, she said softly, to protect people like your mother. Stone laughed, short and bitter. I became a Hell's Angel because I was angry, because I wanted to hurt people, because I didn't know what else to do with all the rage inside me. And now I'm still angry, but I've learned to point it at the right people. They turned off the main road onto a dirt path. Trees pressed in on both sides. The SUV bounced over rocks and potholes. After 5 minutes, lights appeared ahead. A large building, warehouse style. Motorcycles parked in rows out front. Men in leather standing guard. We're here, Stone said. The SUV stopped. Stone got out first. He opened Sarah's door. Wake the kids. We're going inside. Sarah gently shook Emma and Ethan. Come on, babies. We're here. Where's here? Ethan mumbled, half asleep. Somewhere safe. She carried Emma. Ethan walked beside her, holding her coat. They approached the building. The guards looked at Stone, then at Sarah and the children. Who's this? One asked. Under my protection. Anyone got a problem with that? The guard shook his head quickly. No, brother. No problem. Stone pushed open the door. The inside wasn't what Sarah expected. It was warm, clean. Christmas lights hung from the rafters. A tree stood in the corner, decorated with ornaments. Tables were set up with food and drinks. Men in leather sat around talking and laughing. They all stopped when Stone walked in with a woman and 2 children. Brothers, Stone said, we have guests tonight. This is Sarah. These are her kids. They're staying with us until further notice. Silence. A big man with a shaved head stood up. His patch said Sergeant at Arms. Stone, what the hell? You can't just bring civilians in here. I just did. Brother, we've got business. We've got rules. We can't have... Ray, Stone's voice went cold. I'm the president. I make the rules. She's under my protection. That means she's under the club's protection. You got a problem, you take it up with me outside, alone. Ray stared at him. The tension was thick enough to cut. Then Ray looked at the twins, at their hollow cheeks, their worn coats, their exhausted eyes. Something shifted in his face. Ah, hell, he muttered. It's Christmas Eve. I ain't gonna fight you on this. He walked over to Sarah. Up close, he was terrifying. Tattoos covered his neck and hands. A scar split his lower lip. You hungry kid? He asked Ethan. Ethan pressed closer to Sarah. We already ate. Yeah, you want some hot chocolate? We got the good stuff, with marshmallows. Ethan looked up at Sarah. Mommy? Sarah nodded slowly. Okay. Ray held out his massive hand. Come on, I'll show you where it is. Ethan hesitated. Then he took Ray's hand. Ray led him toward a table in the back. The other bikers watched in silence. Stone turned to Sarah. You can put the girl down. She's safe. I'm not putting her down until I know for sure. Stone nodded. Fair enough. Come with me. I'll show you where you're sleeping. He led her through the main room past tables of bikers who watched with curiosity. Some nodded at Sarah, some just stared. They reached a door at the back. Stone pushed it open. Inside was a small room, clean, simple. 2 beds and a bathroom, a window covered with thick curtains. It's not much, Stone said, but it's warm, and nobody's coming through that door without going through me first. Sarah stood in the doorway. Emma was asleep on her shoulder. Why are you doing this? She asked. Really, the whole truth. Stone leaned against the wall. He crossed his arms. You want the truth? I've done a lot of bad things in my life, hurt a lot of people. Some deserved it, some didn't. I joined this club when I was 19 because I had nowhere else to go. I've been riding with these men for almost 40 years. He paused. I've buried 12 brothers. I've put bullets in men who tried to kill me. I've done things that would make you run out of here screaming. But I've never hurt a woman. I've never hurt a child. That's where I draw the line. And Caruso crossed that line the moment he threatened your kids. Stone's voice went flat. He's a dead man. He just doesn't know it yet. Sarah's blood ran cold. I don't want anyone to die because of me. It's not because of you. It's because of what he is. Loan sharks who threaten children don't get to walk around breathing. That's the rule. Whose rule? Mine. Stone straightened up. Get some sleep. Tomorrow we figure out what Caruso's really into. Then we finish it. He walked to the door. Paused. Lock this behind me. Don't open it for anyone except me or Jake, the one with the red beard. How will I know it's you? I'll knock 3 times. Wait 2 seconds. Then knock twice more. Sarah nodded. 3, 2 seconds. 2. You learn fast. Stone almost smiled. Get some rest. He walked out. Sarah locked the door behind him. She laid Emma on one of the beds, covered her with a blanket. Then she sat on the floor with her back against the door. She didn't sleep. She couldn't. Every sound made her jump. Every footstep outside made her heart race. But the twins slept peacefully. For the first time in months, they looked almost happy. That was worth everything. 3 hours passed. Sarah was starting to drift off when she heard something. Voices outside, getting louder. She pressed her ear to the door. Can't just ignore this, Stone. I'm not ignoring it. I'm handling it. Handling it, you brought a woman and 2 kids into our clubhouse. You threatened to break Ray's bones. You're talking about going after Vincent Caruso. Do you have any idea who that man is connected to? Sarah recognized the voice. Jake, the one with the red beard. I know exactly who he's connected to, Stone said. That's why we need to move carefully. Carefully, Brother Caruso has half the police force on his payroll. He's got ties to the Moretti family in New York. He's been running his operation for 15 years and nobody's touched him. What makes you think we can? Because nobody's tried. Not really. Not with everything we've got. And what do we got? 50 brothers' guns. You think that's enough to take on organized crime and corrupt cops? It's a start. Footsteps. Pacing. I've been riding with you for 22 years. I've followed you into fights I never thought I'd walk out of. I've taken bullets for this club. But this is different. This is suicide. Maybe, but I'm not walking away from those kids. Why, you don't know them. You don't owe them anything. Silence. Long and heavy. I told you about my mother, Stone said quietly. I told you about that night in the diner. What I didn't tell you is what happened after. Jake's voice softened. What happened? A man came to our apartment a week later. Said my mother owed him money. My father had taken out a loan before he left. Same story, same kind of man. He threatened to take me and my sister. Sell us off to pay the debt. Jesus, Stone. My mother stood in front of us with a kitchen knife. Told him if he took one more step, she'd kill him. She meant it. I could see it in her eyes, and so could he. What happened? He left, but he came back 3 months later. He brought friends. They burned our apartment down while we were sleeping. My sister and I made it out. My mother didn't. Sarah covered her mouth with her hand. Tears streamed down her face. That woman in there, Stone continued, she's got the same look my mother had. Same fire, same desperation. She slapped a man who could have her killed without blinking. She's not backing down. She just needs someone to stand with here. And that's going to be us. That's going to be me. You can walk away if you want. I won't stop you. Long pause. Hell, Stone, you know I'm not walking away. I'm just saying this is going to get ugly. I know. Caruso's going to come after us. All of us. Our families. Everything. I know. And you're still doing this. Yeah, Jake, I'm still doing this. Footsteps moving away. All right, brother, I'm with you. Let's see what we're dealing with. Sarah leaned back against the door. Her heart was pounding. Stone's story, his mother, the fire. It was too much. But it also explained everything. This wasn't just about her. This was about a wound that had never healed. A debt Stone had been waiting 40 years to settle. She pulled her knees to her chest and wrapped her arms around them. Morning couldn't come fast enough. 6 hours later, light crept through the curtains. The twins stirred. Mommy, Emma sat up, rubbing her eyes. Where are we? Sarah moved to the bed. We're safe, baby. Remember, the man from the diner brought us somewhere safe. The scary man with the scar. He's not scary. He helped us. Emma looked around the room. I'm hungry. Me too, Ethan added, waking up. Can we have pancakes? Before Sarah could answer, there was a knock at the door. 3 knocks. 2 seconds of silence. 2 more knocks. Sarah stood up and unlocked the door. Stone stood there with a tray of food. Eggs, bacon, toast, orange juice, and in his other hand, 2 sets of brand new winter clothes. Merry Christmas, he said. The twins' eyes went wide. Is that bacon? Ethan asked. Real bacon, Stone confirmed. Ethan jumped off the bed. Mommy, can I please? Sarah nodded, her throat too tight to speak. Stone set the tray on the bed. The twins dove in immediately. These are for them, he said, holding up the clothes. It's cold. Their jackets aren't good enough. Sarah took the clothes. Warm coats, thermal shirts, new boots. I can't. Don't say you can't accept it. The kids need it. End of story. Sarah looked at him. This giant of a man. This biker covered in tattoos and scars. This killer who talked about violence like it was weather. He'd bought her children clothes. Thank you, she whispered. I don't know how to. Don't thank me yet. Stone's expression darkened. We need to talk, once the kids are done eating. About what? Caruso, he's worse than you know. A lot worse. Sarah's stomach dropped. What do you mean? I made some calls last night. Talked to some people who know things. Caruso's not just a loan shark. He's running a trafficking ring. Women and children. Targets families in crisis. Widows. Single mothers. People nobody will miss. Sarah felt the blood drain from her face. What? At least 6 women have disappeared after getting tangled up with him. Their kids, too. Nobody knows where they went. Police won't investigate. They're on his payroll. Oh my God. He wasn't just threatening you, Sarah. He was shopping for merchandise. Sarah's knees gave out. She caught herself on the doorframe. Stone grabbed her arm. Easy. Breathe. My children, he's not going to do anything. I told you, he's a dead man. But how if the police are protecting him? There are people who aren't police, people who owe me favors. One of them is a detective named Maria Santos. Federal. She's been trying to build a case against Caruso for years. She just needs evidence. And witnesses. Sarah looked up at him. You want me to testify? I want you to think about it. If you do, it could bring him down. All of it. The trafficking, the corruption, everything. And if I don't, then we handle it the other way. Sarah knew what that meant. Violence, death, more blood. I have children, she said quietly. I can't put them in more danger. I understand, but I need you to know something. Stone's voice was steady. Caruso's not going to stop, whether you testify or not, whether we kill him or not. There are others. He's part of something bigger. If we take him down the right way, we save more than just your kids. We save everyone he was going to hurt. Sarah was quiet for a long moment. She looked at the twins. They were laughing, fighting over the last piece of bacon. So innocent, so unaware of the darkness circling their lives. I need to think, she finally said. Take your time, but not too much. Caruso knows you're gone. He's going to be looking. Stone turned to leave. Wait, Sarah said. He stopped. The women who disappeared, the ones Caruso took, is there any chance they're still alive? Stone's expression was unreadable. Maybe, if they're useful to him, he keeps them alive. If not, he didn't finish. Sarah's hands balled into fists. Her fear was transforming, hardening, becoming something else. Rage. I'll testify, she said. I'll do whatever it takes to bring him down. Stone studied her for a moment. Then he nodded. Get the kids dressed. We're meeting with Santos in 2 hours. He walked away. Sarah closed the door. She leaned against it, her whole body shaking. What had she just agreed to? What had she just put her children into? But then she thought of the other women, the other children, the ones nobody was looking for. She couldn't save David. She couldn't save her house or her body net or her old life. But maybe she could save them. Mommy, Emma's voice was small. Are you okay? Sarah took a breath, steadied herself. Yes, baby, I'm okay. You look scared. I'm not scared. Sarah walked to the bed and sat down. I'm angry, and that's different. Who are you angry at? Bad people, baby, very bad people. Amias was quiet for a moment. Then she reached out and took Sarah's hand. It's okay, Mommy. The scary man with the scar will help us. I can tell he's good. How can you tell? His eyes, they're some. Only good people have sad eyes, Mom. Sarah pulled her daughter close, 6 years old, and already seeing things adults missed. You're right, baby. He is good, in his own way. An hour later, they were dressed and ready. The twins wore their new coats, beaming with pride. Sarah had washed her face and pulled back her hair. She still looked exhausted, but there was fire in her eyes now. Stone met them in the main room. Jake was with him, along with 3 other bikers. Santos is meeting us at a warehouse on the east side, Stone said. Neutral ground, safer for everyone. Why not here? Because if she comes here, Caruso's people might follow her. I'm not putting my brothers at risk. Sarah nodded. What do I need to tell her? Everything. The loan, the threats, what Caruso said about your children. Every detail you can remember. And then she builds her case, and we wait. Wait for what? Stone's eyes went cold. For Caruso to make a mistake. They walked toward the door. The twins held Sarah's hands. Ethan looked up at Stone. Uncle Stone. Stone stopped, looked down at the boy. Yeah, kid. Are you going to hurt the mean man? Stone was quiet for a moment. Then he crouched down to Ethan's level. I'm going to make sure he never hurts anyone again. You, your sister, your mama. Nobody, okay? Ethan nodded slowly. Okay. Stone stood up. He looked at Sarah. Ready. Sarah took a deep breath. She thought of David, of everything she'd lost, of everything she might still lose. But she also thought of the other women, the other children, the ones still trapped in Caruso's web. I'm ready. They walked out into the cold Christmas morning. The sun was just starting to rise. The snow had stopped falling. Everything was still and quiet. But Sarah knew it wouldn't last. The storm was coming. Caruso was coming. And this time she wasn't running. She was fighting. The SUV cut through the empty Christmas morning streets. Sarah sat in the back with the twins, her heart pounding against her ribs. Stone drove in silence. Jake rode shotgun eyes, scanning every passing car. How much further? Sarah asked. 10 minutes. Emma tugged at Sarah's sleeve. Mommy, where are we going? Oh, to meet someone who can help us. Another scary man. No baby, a woman, a police officer. Ethan perked up. A real police officer with a badge. Yes. Cool. Sarah wished she shared his excitement. Her stomach was a knot of fear and adrenaline. In less than an hour, she would tell a federal detective everything. Every threat, Every word Caruso had spoken. Every nightmare he'd promised to deliver. There was no going back after that. Stone's phone buzzed. He glanced at the screen, then answered. Yeah, we're 5 minutes out. Pause. Good. Keep it clean. He hung up. Santos is there, he said to Jake. She's alone, like she promised. You trust her? I trust that she wants Caruso more than she wants us. Jake grunted. That's something, I guess. They pulled into an industrial area. Abandoned warehouses, empty lots, the kind of place where things happen that nobody talked about. Stone stopped the SUV in front of a large metal building. A single car was parked outside. Black sedan, government plates. Stay here, Stone said to Sarah. I'm going to make sure it's safe. He got out. Jake followed. They walked toward the building, hands near their waists. Sarah watched through the window. Her fingers gripped the seat. Mommy, you're squeezing too hard, Emma said. Sarah loosened her grip. Sorry, baby. 2 minutes passed. 3, 4. Then Stone appeared at the warehouse door. He waved them forward. Sarah took a deep breath. Okay, let's go. She helped the twins out of the SUV. The cold bit at their faces, but the new coats kept them warm. They walked toward the warehouse. Entirely, you know what, a woman stood waiting. Mid-40s, sharp eyes, dark hair pulled back tight. She wore a simple jacket and jeans, but everything about her screamed authority. Mrs. Mitchell, she said, I'm Detective Maria Santos, Federal Task Force on Human Trafficking. Sarah shook her hand. Thank you for meeting us, especially on Christmas. Christmas is when predators think they're safe. I don't take holidays. Santos looked down at the twins. Her expression softened just slightly. These are your children, Emma and Ethan. Santos crouched down to their level. Hey there, I'm Maria. Are you too hungry? I brought donuts. Ethan's eyes lit up. Donuts? The good kind, with sprinkles. She pointed to a small table in the corner. A box of donuts and 2 juice boxes sat waiting. Can we, Mommy? Emma asked. Sarah nodded. Go ahead. The twins ran to the table. Sarah watched them for a moment, then turned back to Santos. They don't know what's happening, Sarah said quietly. I haven't told them everything. That's probably for the best. Santos pulled out a small recorder. Do you mind if I record this? No, whatever helps. Santos hit the button. Okay, Mrs. Mitchell, start from the beginning. Tell me everything about Vincent Caruso. Sarah sat down on a metal folding chair. Stone stood nearby, arms crossed. Jake watched the door. My husband borrowed $5,000 from Caruso, Sarah began. It was 2 months before he died. I didn't know about it until after. How did you find out? Caruso came to my door 3 weeks after David's funeral. He said I owed him the money now, with interest. How much interest? He said the total was $6,000, but every month I didn't pay it went up. It's over $8,000 now. Santos wrote something in a notebook. Did he threaten you? Yes, every time. He said if I didn't pay, he'd find other ways to collect. What other ways? Sarah's voice caught. He said there were people who paid money for children, especially twins. Santos stopped writing. Her jaw tightened. He said that to you directly. Yes, last night, at Rosie's diner, in front of my children. Santos looked at Stone. You were there. I was. What did you see? Everything she said. The threat was clear. He was going to take her kids. Santos turned back to Sarah. Mrs. Mitchell, I've been investigating Caruso for 3 years. He's connected to a network that traffics women and children across state lines. We've never been able to prove it. No witnesses. Everyone who could testify either disappeared or stopped talking. What happened to them? Some we found dead. Others vanished completely. Their families too. Sarah's blood ran cold. You're saying he kills witnesses. I'm saying he makes problems disappear, however he needs to. So if you testify, you become a target, a bigger target than you already are. Stone stepped forward. She's under my protection. That changes things. Santos raised an eyebrow. Your protection, Mr. Brennan, with all due respect, you run a motorcycle club. Caruso has connections to organized crime families in 3 states. He has cops, judges, and politicians in his pocket. What exactly can you offer that I can't? Stone's eyes went cold. I can offer the one thing you can't, Detective. I can get to him before he gets to her. Are you admitting to intent to commit murder? I'm admitting to intent to protect this woman and her children, whatever that takes. The two stared at each other. Neither blinked. Finally, Santos sighed. Look, I'm not here to arrest anyone. Not today. I'm here because I want Caruso behind bars. And for the first time in 3 years, I might have a witness willing to talk. She turned to Sarah. Mrs. Mitchell, if you agree to testify, I can offer you protection. Federal witness protection. New identities, new location. Your children would be safe. And what about the other women, the ones who disappeared? Santos hesitated. What about them? Stone told me there are at least 6 women and children that Caruso took. Are they still alive? We believe some of them are, he died. We've tracked shipments. Santos stopped herself. I shouldn't be telling you this. Tell me anyway. Santos studied Sarah for a long moment. Then she spoke. We believe Caruso is holding victims at a location outside the city. A compound of some kind. We don't know exactly where. We've never been able to get close enough to confirm. So they could still be saved. Theoretically, yes, if we could find them. Sarah stood up. Her hands were shaking, but her voice was steady. Then we find them. Santos shook her head. Mrs. Mitchell, that's not how this works. We build a case, we get warrants, we go through proper channels. Proper channels? Right. How long have you been going through proper channels? 3 years. And how many women have disappeared in those 3 years? Santos didn't answer. Sarah stepped closer. Detective, I spent last night in a biker clubhouse because a loan shark threatened to sell my children. I've been homeless, hungry, and terrified for months. I have nothing left to lose. So don't tell me about proper channels. Tell me how to find those women. Stone moved to Sarah's side. She's right, Detective. Your way hasn't worked. Maybe it's time to try something different. Santos looked between them. Her expression was unreadable. You're talking about an unsanctioned raid on a suspected trafficking compound. That's illegal. That's dangerous. That could get everyone killed. So could waiting, Stone said. Caruso knows we took Sarah. He's going to be looking for her. And when he doesn't find her, he's going to start cleaning house. Anyone who could talk. Anyone who's seen too much. Including those women. Santos was quiet for a long moment. When she spoke, her voice was low. There's a man, works for Caruso, low level. He's been feeding me information for the past 6 months. He's scared. He wants out. If anyone knows where that compound is, he does. Who is he? His name is Danny Russo. He works at Caruso's car dealership. It's a front for money laundering. Can you get him to talk? I've been trying. He's too afraid. Every time I push, he shuts down. Stone nodded slowly. Let me try. He'll never talk to a Hell's Angel. He might, if I give him something he wants more than safety. What's that, revenge? Santos frowned. What do you mean? Russo had a sister, Maria Russo. She disappeared 2 years ago. Her and her 8-year-old daughter. Caruso said they skipped town. But everyone knew the truth. Santos's eyes widened. How do you know this? I know a lot of things, Detective. That's how I've stayed alive this long. He pulled out his phone. Give me Russo's address. I'll have him talking by tonight. Santos hesitated. Then she wrote something on a piece of paper and handed it to Stone. If this goes wrong, it won't. If it does, I never met you. None of this happened. Stone pocketed the paper. Understood. He turned to Sarah. Stay here with Santos. I'll be back in a few hours. Sarah grabbed his arm. Wait, I want to come. No. Soneo. Sarah, look at me. He waited until her eyes met his. Those kids need you. They need you alive and safe. I can't guarantee that if you come with me. And if something happens to you, what then? Stone's expression softened just barely. Then Santos takes you into witness protection. You disappear. You start over. You keep those kids safe. That's not good enough. It's all I can offer. He started toward the door. Jake fell in beside him. Sarah watched them go. Her chest ached with a fear she couldn't name. At the door, Stone paused. He looked back. Sarah, that night at the diner, when you slapped Caruso, most people would have begged, would have cried. You stood up and hit him. That took guts. I wasn't thinking. I just reacted. That's the point. When everything in you says run, you fight instead. That's not common. That's rare. He paused. Don't lose that. Then he was gone. Sarah stood frozen. The warehouse felt suddenly empty. Santos moved to her side. He's right, you know. What you did took courage. It didn't feel like courage. It felt like madness. Sometimes they're the same thing. Sarah looked at her children. They were still eating donuts, oblivious to the darkness swirling around them. Detective, can I ask you something? Go ahead. Why do you do this hunting men like Caruso, year after year, watching people disappear, knowing you can't save everyone? Santos was quiet for a moment. When she spoke, her voice was distant. I had a daughter, Nicole. She was 17 when she disappeared. Walking home from school one day, never made it. Sarah's heart clenched. I'm so sorry. They never found her. No body, no witnesses, nothing. She just vanished. Santos's jaw tightened. That was 15 years ago. I've spent every day since trying to make sure no other parent goes through what I went through. Do you think she's still alive? No. I stopped hoping a long time ago, but I keep fighting because somewhere out there, another Nicole is waiting to be found. Another mother is waiting for her to come home. Sarah understood. This wasn't just a job for Santos. This was a crusade, a war that never ended. What do we do now? Sarah asked. We wait. Stone knows what he's doing. He'll get Russo to talk. And then we find that compound and we take Caruso down. 2 hours passed. The twins fell asleep on a pile of blankets Santos had brought. Sarah paced the warehouse floor, checking her phone every few minutes. Nothing. Santos sat at a table reviewing files. Photos of missing women, children with hollow eyes, families torn apart. How many? Sarah asked quietly. How many what? How many people has Caruso taken? Santos closed the file. Confirmed 23, suspected over 100. Across 6 states, over 15 years. Sarah felt sick. 100. At least, the ones we know about. There could be more. And nobody stopped him. People tried. They ended up dead or disappeared. Caruso's smart. He covers his tracks. He owns the right people. Every time we get close, something happens. Evidence vanishes. Witnesses recant. Cases get thrown out. Until now. Until you. Santos looked at her. You're the first person in years who's willing to stand up and testify. Do you understand how important that is? Before Sarah could answer, the warehouse door burst open. Stone walked in. His face was grim. Behind him, Jake half carried a thin, terrified man with a black eye and split lip. Got him, Stone said. They dropped the man into a chair. He was shaking so badly the chair rattled against the concrete floor. Santos stood up. Danny Russo. The man nodded frantically. Please, please don't kill me. I'll tell you everything. Just don't kill me. Nobody's killing you, Santos said. We just want information. They'll find out. If I talk, they'll find out. They'll kill me like they killed my sister. Stone crouched down in front of him. Danny, look at me. Russo's terrified eyes met Stone's. I know about Maria. I know about your niece. I know what Caruso did to them. Tears streamed down Russo's face. He took them, said they ran away. But I saw the van. I saw his men put them inside. Where did they take them? I don't know. I swear I don't. Stone grabbed his collar. You worked it for him for 10 years. You saw everything. You know where he keeps them. I can't if I tell you I'm dead. You're already dead, Danny. The moment we pulled you out of your apartment, Caruso's people saw. They know you're talking to us. There's no going back. Russo's face crumpled. Oh God, oh God. The only way you survive this is if we take Caruso down. All of him, tonight. And for that, we need to know where the compound is. Russo was sobbing now, broken, defeated. They'll kill me. They won't get the chance. Tell me where, and I promise you on my mother's grave, I will burn that place to the ground. Long silence. Russo's whole body shook. Finally, he spoke. There's a farm, 40 miles north, off Route 29. It looks abandoned, but underground there's a bunker. That's where they keep them. How many people are there? I don't know, maybe 20, maybe more. Caruso rotates them. Some get sold. Some... He couldn't finish. Stone stood up. He looked at Santos. You got that? Santos was already on her phone. I'm calling for backup. This is a federal raid now. How long until your people get there? 3 hours, maybe 4. It's Christmas. Everyone's scattered. Stone shook his head. We don't have 4 hours. The second Caruso hears, we grabbed Russo, he's going to clean house. Everyone in that compound will be dead or gone. I can't authorize an unsanctioned raid. It's not legal. Then don't authorize it. Just don't stop us. Santos stared at him. The weight of the decision pressed down on her shoulders. If you go in there without backup, you could die. All of you. Maybe, but those people in that bunker will definitely die if we wait. Santos closed her eyes. When she opened them, something had shifted. I never saw you leave this warehouse. I don't know where you went. If anyone asked, this meeting never happened. Stone nodded. Understood. He turned to Sarah. Stay here, watch the kids. Stone. I mean it. This is going to be dangerous. I need to know you're safe. Sarah wanted to argue, wanted to fight, but she looked at her sleeping children and she knew he was right. Come back, she said. Please, come back. Stone held her gaze. I always, thought. He walked toward the door. Jake and the other bikers followed. At the threshold, Stone stopped. Santos, if I don't come back, get her out, her and the kids, new names, new lives, as far away from here as possible. I will. Then he was gone. The warehouse fell silent. Sarah sat down next to her sleeping children. She pulled them close, feeling their warmth against her body. Please, she whispered to no one, please let him come back. 1 hour passed, then 2. Santos paced the warehouse phone pressed to her ear, calling in favors, moving pieces into place. Sarah couldn't sit still. She checked on the twins every few minutes. Walked to the window, looked at the empty parking lot, walked back. The waiting was agony. Finally, Santos's phone rang. She answered immediately. Talk to me. Sarah watched her face, saw it change, saw the color drain from her cheeks. What? Sarah asked. What is it? Santos lowered the phone. Her voice was hollow. They found the compound. Stone and his men went in 20 minutes ago. And Caruso was there, with 30 armed men. It's a war zone. Sarah's legs went weak. Is Stone... I don't know. Communications are jammed. We lost contact. The world spun. Sarah grabbed a chair to steady herself. Her children were still sleeping, peaceful, unaware. And somewhere 40 miles away, the man who had saved them was fighting for his life. I have to go, Sarah said. What? I have to go. I have to help. Are you insane? You can't... He went there because of me, because of my family. I can't just sit here and wait. Santos grabbed her arm. Listen to me. You walk out that door, you die. Your children become orphans. Is that what you want? Sarah stopped. The words hit her like a punch. Her children, Emma and Ethan, sleeping peacefully behind her. She couldn't leave them. She couldn't abandon them like the world had abandoned her. But she couldn't just do nothing. There has to be something, she said. Something I can do. Santos thought for a moment. Then her eyes lit up. Caruso doesn't know where you are. He's focused on Stone and the compound. If we move now while he's distracted, move where? His office, downtown. He keeps records there. Physical files, names, dates, transactions. Everything we'd need to build an airtight case. You want to break into his office? I want you to help me break into his office. While he's busy fighting a war he can't win, we take everything, every piece of evidence, every dirty secret. Sarah looked at her children, then at Santos. What about Emma and Ethan? I'll call someone, a marshal I trust. She'll stay with them until we get back. How long? 2 hours, maybe less. Sarah's heart pounded. This was insane. This was dangerous. This could get her killed, but it could also end everything. Take down Caruso for good. Protect her children forever. She thought of Stone, of his mother, of the 40 years he'd spent carrying that pain. She thought of the women in that bunker, the children, the families destroyed. She thought of David, of the last thing he ever said to her. Protect them, no matter what. Sarah turned to Santos. Let's go. The marshal arrived in 12 minutes, a woman in her 40s named Torres, Hard eyes, gentle hands. She knelt beside the sleeping twins and smiled. "They're beautiful," she said. "I'll guard them with my life." Sarah hesitated. Every instinct screamed at her to stay, to hold her children and never let go. But Santos was already at the door. "Sarah, we have to move, now." Sarah kissed Emma's forehead, then Ethan's. They didn't wake. "I'll be back," she whispered. "I promise." She followed Santos into the night. Santos drove fast, no sirens, no lights, just a black sedan cutting through empty streets. "Caruso's office is downtown," Santos said. "Third floor of a building he owns. Officially, it's a real estate company. Unofficially, it's his command center." "How do we get in?" "I have a key. One of his former employees gave it to me before she disappeared." Sarah's stomach turned. Disappeared. She was going to testify, never got the chance. The words hung in the air. Sarah understood what she was walking into, the same trap that had swallowed so many others. But she kept moving. 20 minutes later, they pulled into an underground parking garage. Empty. Silent. Santos killed the engine. "From here we walk. Stay close. Stay quiet." They exited the car. Santos led the way to a service elevator. She swiped a key card. The doors opened. "Third floor. Once we're in, we have maybe 20 minutes before the security system resets and alerts Caruso's people. What happens then? Then we better be gone." The elevator climbed. Sarah's heart pounded louder with each floor. The doors opened onto a dark hallway. Santos moved forward, gun drawn. Sarah followed, her breath shallow. They reached a heavy wooden door. Santos inserted the key. It turned with a soft click. Inside the office was exactly what Sarah expected. Expensive furniture, dark wood, the smell of cigars and leather, the throne room of a monster. "The files are in the back," Santos said. "Help me look." They moved through the darkness. Santos used a small flashlight, sweeping it across shelves and cabinets. Sarah opened a drawer. Papers, contracts, nothing useful. Another drawer. Photos, women, children, faces frozen in fear. Her hands trembled. "Santos, look at this." Santos came over. She saw the photos and her jaw tightened. "Evidence? Take all of it." Sarah stuffed the photos into a bag Santos had brought. Her fingers touched more files. Names, dates, amounts paid, buyers listed by code names. "This is everything," Sarah breathed. "Everything he's done." "Keep moving. We don't have much time." They worked in silence, filling the bag with years of Caruso's crimes. Every document was a life destroyed. Every photo was a family torn apart. Sarah found a folder labeled Inventory. She opened it. Her blood went cold. Lists. Dozens of lists. Names of women and children. Ages. Physical descriptions. Status sold. Pending. Deceased. "Oh my God," she whispered. Santos looked over her shoulder. Even she, who had seen everything, went pale. He kept records. Of everything. Every person he trafficked. Sarah's eyes scanned the pages, looking for something. Someone. Then she found it. Rosso Maria, age 34. Female. Caucasian. Status sold. Russo Elena, age 8. Female. Caucasian. Status sold. Danny's sister. Danny's niece. Sold like property. "They're alive," Sarah said. "Or they were. He sold them." "To who?" Sarah flipped on the page. Buyer codes, locations, dates. "Someone in New York, 3 months ago." Santos pulled out her phone. "I need to call this in. If they're still alive, we can find them." "Do it. Do it now, Ma." Santos dialed. Sarah kept searching. Another folder, another list, more names. Then she saw something that stopped her heart. Mitchell Emma, age 6, female, Caucasian, status pending. Mitchell Ethan, age 6, male, Caucasian, status pending. Her children, her babies, already cataloged, already priced. Sarah's vision went red. "He was going to sell them," she said. Her voice was barely human. "He had my children in his inventory." Santos turned, saw the file, saw Sarah's face. "Sarah, he was going to sell my children." Something broke inside her. Something that had been holding together by threads. She screamed. The sound echoed through the empty office, raw, primal, the scream of a mother who had almost lost everything. Santos grabbed her. "Sarah, stop. We have to go." But Sarah couldn't stop, couldn't breathe, couldn't think. Her children, Emma and Ethan, sleeping peacefully in that warehouse. They had no idea how close they came, how close they still were. Santos shook her hard. "Listen to me. We have the evidence. We have everything we need. But if we don't get out now, none of it matters." Sarah forced herself to focus, to breathe, to think. "Okay," she gasped. "Okay, let's go." They grabbed the bags, headed for the door. That's when the lights came on. Sarah froze. 3 men stood in the doorway, big, armed, wearing suits that couldn't hide their muscle. And behind them, stepping into the light like a nightmare made flesh, was Vincent Caruso. "Mrs. Mitchell," he said. His voice was silk over steel. "What a pleasant surprise." Santos raised her gun. "Federal agent, don't move." Caruso laughed. "Agent Santos, we finally meet. I've heard so much about you. You're under arrest, all of you." "Am I?" Caruso stepped forward. His men didn't flinch. "And who's going to arrest me? You alone with 1 gun against 3. Backup is on the way." "No, it isn't. Your people are 40 miles north watching my compound burn. By the time they get here, you'll be dead, and Mrs. Mitchell will be..." He smiled. "Let's just say her children will be orphans." Sarah's blood turned to ice. "You won't touch them." "I already have Mrs. Mitchell. Or did you think I didn't know where you were hiding? That warehouse on the east side? Marshal Torres is probably dead by now. And your precious twins..." He let the words hang. Sarah's world collapsed. No, you're lying." "Am I? Call them. Go ahead. See if anyone answers." Santos kept her gun up, but her eyes flickered to Sarah. Sarah pulled out her phone, dialed Torres. 1 ring, 2, 3, no answer. 4 rings, 5. "Hello," Torres's voice. "Alive." "Are the children okay?" Sarah's voice cracked. "They're fine. Sleeping. What's wrong?" Relief flooded through her so hard she almost collapsed. Nothing's wrong. Just don't open the door for anyone. Anyone except me or Detective Santos. Do you understand?" "Sarah, what's happening? Just do it, please." She hung up. Caruso's smile faltered. "Interesting. It seems my men are slower than I thought." "Your men are finished," Sarah said. Her fear was transforming kitchen, hardening into something else. "Stone is at your compound. He's taking it apart piece by piece." "Stone." Caruso's eyes darkened. "That old biker thinks he's some kind of hero. He has no idea what he's walking into. He has 30 men. I have 50, and reinforcements on the way." Caruso stepped closer. "You see, Mrs. Mitchell, this isn't my first war. I've been fighting people like Stone for 20 years. They come, they fight, they die, and I remain." Santos adjusted her aim. "You're not remaining anywhere. You're going to prison. With what evidence? The files you're holding, they'll be ashes in an hour, along with both of you." He snapped his fingers. His men moved forward. Santos fired. The first man went down with a bullet in his shoulder. He screamed. The others scattered. "Run!" Santos shouted. Sarah did not need to be told twice. She sprinted toward the back of the office. Santos followed, firing behind her. Glass shattered. Bullets tore through the air. Sarah saw a door. Emergency exit. She slammed into it. Stairs. Going down. "Go!" Santos was right behind her. "Don't stop." They ran down the stairs. 1 floor. 2. Sarah's lungs burned. Behind them, footsteps. Getting closer. Santos spun and fired up the stairwell. A man grunted. Fell. "Keep moving." They reached the ground floor. Sarah burst through the door into the parking garage. Santos's car was 50 feet away. They ran. Bullets sparked off the concrete around them. Sarah's ears rang. Her legs screamed. 20 feet. 10. Santos hit the unlock button. The car beeped. Sarah dove into the passenger seat. Santos slid behind the wheel. The engine roared. Tires screeched. The car shot forward. Behind them, Caruso's men poured out of the stairwell. Santos didn't slow down. She aimed for the exit and floored it. The car burst out of the garage into the street. Santos took a hard left, then a right, weaving through empty intersections. Sarah looked back. No one following. Yet. Are you hit? Santos asked. No, you graze my arm, I'll live. Sarah saw the blood soaking through Santos's sleeve. You need a hospital. Later, first we need to get back to the warehouse. Get the kids, get out of the city. Santos's phone buzzed. She answered on speaker. Santos. Detective, a man's voice. Urgent. It's Agent Rodriguez. We just got word from the compound. The raid is over. Sarah's heart stopped. What happened? Is Stone alive? Silence on the other end. Agent, Santos pressed. Report. Multiple casualties. Both sides. The compound is secure. We're pulling out survivors now. Stone, Marcus Brennan, is he alive? A long pause. He's being airlifted to County General. He took 3 bullets. They don't know if he's going to make it. The words hit Sarah like a physical blow. She grabbed the dashboard to steady her out, though. No, that's not... What about Caruso's men? Santos asked. How many captured? Over 30. We're still counting. Most of them are surrendering now that the compound is burning. And the victim, the women and children? We found 12 so far, alive, scared but alive. We're transporting them to safety now. Santos exhaled. Good, that's good. She hung up. Sarah couldn't speak, couldn't think. Stone. The man who had walked into that diner and changed everything. The man who had promised to protect her. He was dying. He's strong, Santos said quietly. I've seen his file. He's survived worse. You don't know that. No, I don't. But I know men like him don't go down easy. Sarah stared out the window. The city blurred past. Christmas lights still twinkled on houses and storefronts. Families were waking up to presents and warmth and safety. And somewhere in a hospital, a gray-bearded biker was fighting for his life because of her. This is my fault, she whispered. No, this is Caruso's fault. Stone made his choice. He knew what he was walking into. He did it for me, for my children. He did it because it was right. Because those women in that compound deserved to be saved. Because someone had to stop Caruso and no one else was willing to try. Santos reached over and squeezed Sarah's hand. You didn't cause this. You ended it. Those files you're holding, they're going to put Caruso away for life. They're going to save more people than you'll ever know. Sarah looked down at the bag in her lap, the evidence, the proof of so many destroyed lives. It doesn't feel like a victory. It never does, not when it costs this much. They drove in silence until they reached the warehouse. Torres met them at the door. The twins were awake now, rubbing their eyes. Mommy! Emma ran into Sarah's arms. Sarah held her tight, tighter than she'd ever held anything. I'm here, baby. I'm here. Where did you go? We woke up and you weren't here. I had to do something important, but it's over now. Everything's going to be okay. She looked at Ethan, who was watching her with worried eyes. Come here, buddy. He ran to her. She wrapped both arms around her children, feeling their warmth, their heartbeats, their lives pressed against her. They were safe. After everything, they were safe. We need to move, Santos said. Caruso got away. He'll be looking for you. Sarah nodded. She stood keeping the twins close. Where do we go? I have a safe house, off the grid. We stay there until the feds finish their sweep. By tomorrow, Caruso won't have anywhere to hide. They piled into Santos's car. Torres followed in a separate vehicle. As they drove, Ethan looked up at Sarah. Mommy, is Uncle Stone okay? Sarah's throat tightened. He got hurt, baby, but he's strong. He's going to be fine. Promise, she couldn't lie. Not about this. I hope so, sweetheart. I really hope so. The safe house was small, an old farmhouse miles from the city. Santos had used it before for witnesses who needed to disappear. They settled in. Torres stood guard outside. The twins fell asleep on the couch, exhausted from a day they didn't fully understand. Sarah sat at the kitchen table. Santos was on the phone coordinating with federal agents. Hours passed. At 3 a.m, Santos finally hung up. News? Sarah asked. Caruso's men are talking. All of them. They're giving up everything. Names, locations, buyers. The whole network is coming down. And Caruso? Still missing. But we have every cop in the state looking for him. He won't get far. And Stone? Santos hesitated. He's out of surgery. Still critical. They won't know more until morning. Sarah closed her eyes. Exhaustion was dragging at her, but she couldn't sleep. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw Stone's face, his ice blue eyes, his scarred cheek. I want to see him, she said. That's not a good idea. If Caruso's people are watching the hospital, I don't care. He saved my life, my children's lives. I'm not letting him die alone. Santos studied her for a long moment. Then she nodded. Okay, at first light I'll take you, but we go in quiet, fast. No one knows you're there. Thank you. Sarah didn't sleep. She sat by the window watching the darkness fade into gray. Watching the first light of morning creep across the horizon. At 6, Santos touched her shoulder. Time to go. Torres stayed with the twins. Sarah followed Santos to the car. The drive to County General took 40 minutes. They parked in a side lot, entered through a service entrance. Santos flashed her badge at a nurse. Marcus Brennan, what room? ICU, room 312, family only. She's family. The nurse looked at Sarah, saw the desperation in her eyes. Down the hall, second left. They walked. Sarah's legs felt like lead. Her heart pounded louder with each step. Room 312, the door was cracked open. Santos nodded for Sarah to go in. She pushed the door open. Stone lay in the bed, tubes everywhere, machines beeping. His massive body looked smaller somehow, fragile. His brothers were there. Jake, Ray, 2 others she didn't recognize. They looked up when she entered. Jake stood. She shouldn't be here. I know. Sarah moved to the bed. I had to come. She looked down at Stone. His face was pale, his breathing shallow. A bandage covered most of his chest. Is he going to make it? She asked. Ray shook his head. Doctors don't know. 1 bullet hit near his heart. They got it out, but there was a lot of damage. Sarah reached out and took Stone's hand. It was cold. You saved us, she whispered. You saved those women, those children. You did what no one else could do. No response. Just the steady beep of the heart monitor. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry I brought this into your life. But I need you to fight. Emma and Ethan need you. They call you Uncle Marcus now. They want you to teach them to ride motorcycles. They want you at their birthday parties. They want you at their graduations. Tears streamed down her face. Please don't die. Please. Not for me. Not because of me. She stayed there for an hour, holding his hand, talking to him, telling him about the evidence she found, about Caruso's men surrendering, about the 12 people they saved. Stone didn't wake up. At 8, Santos appeared at the door. Sarah, we need to go. Just a little longer. Caruso's people might have tracked us here. It's not safe. Sarah looked at Stone, at his closed eyes, his still face. She leaned down and kissed his forehead. I'll come back, she whispered. I promise. She turned and walked toward the door. That's when she heard it, a soft sound, like a groan. She spun around. Stone's eyes were open, just barely, blue slits looking at her. Sarah. His voice was barely a whisper, a rasp of sound. She ran back to the bed. Stone, oh my God, you're awake. The kids, are they safe? Yes, they're safe because of you. Stone tried to smile. It came out as a grimace. Good, that's good. Jake was at the bed now, Ray too. Brother, you scared us half to death, Jake said. Takes more than 3 bullets to put me down. Apparently it takes exactly 3 bullets to put you in an ICU. Stone coughed. It sounded painful. Caruso. Got away, Jake said. But not for long. Every cop in the state is looking for him. Stone's eyes hardened. He'll run. Try to disappear. New name. New city. We'll find him. No. Stone's voice was weak but firm. I'll find him. When I get out of this bed, I'll finish this. Sarah grabbed his hand again. You need to rest. You need to heal. I'll heal, then I'll hunt. His eyes met hers. Something passed between them, an understanding, a promise. But first, he said, bring me those kids. I want to see them. Sarah smiled through her tears. Okay, I'll bring them, when you're stronger. Deal. His eyes closed. The machines beeped steadily. His breathing evened out. He was asleep again, but alive, fighting. Sarah turned to Santos. Get me back to my children. We'll wait, however long it takes. Santos nodded. Let's go. They left the hospital. The morning sun was bright now, warm. The first real warmth Sarah had felt in months. They were driving back to the safe house when Santos's phone rang. Santos? Pause. What? Her face went pale. When Sarah's stomach dropped. What is it? Santos hung up. Her hands were shaking. Caruso, they found him. Where? The farmhouse. Our safe house. Sarah's blood turned to ice. My children. Santos floored the gas pedal. The car screamed down the highway. Sarah couldn't breathe, couldn't think. Torres is there, Santos said. She's armed. She knows what she's doing. He has an army. We don't know that. It might just be him. It's never just him. The farmhouse came into view. Smoke was rising from somewhere behind it. 2 cars were parked in the driveway. Neither of them belonged to Torres. Santos slammed the brakes. She drew her gun. Stay in the car. Like hell. Sarah jumped out. She ran toward the house. Sarah, she didn't listen. Her children were in there. Nothing else mattered. She burst through the front door. The living room was destroyed, furniture overturned, bullet holes in the walls. Torres lay on the floor, not moving. Sarah screamed, Emma, Ethan! A door at the back of the house was open. Cold air rushed in. Sarah ran through it and stopped dead. Caruso stood in the backyard. He had Emma in one arm, Ethan in the other. Both children were crying. Hello, Mrs. Mitchell, he said. I believe you have something that belongs to me. Behind her, Santos appeared, gun raised. Caruso laughed. Go ahead, detective. Shoot me. Let's see if you can do it before I break these pretty little necks. Santos hesitated. Sarah stepped forward. Let them go. Please, I'll do anything. Anything, Caruso smiled. Give me the files, every document you took from my office, and I'll let them live. The files are with the FBI. It's too late. Is it because I have friends in the FBI? Friends who can make evidence disappear. All I need is for you to tell me exactly who has what. Sarah's mind raced. She had to stall, had to think. Okay, I'll tell you. Just put down my children. Tell me first. Agent Rodriguez. He has the original documents. 3rd floor of the federal building downtown. Caruso studied her. You're lying. I'm not. I swear. Please, just let them go. Caruso's grip on the children tightened. They screamed. Mommy! Sarah's heart shattered. And then something happened. Emma bit down on Caruso's hand. Hard. He screamed and dropped her. Ethan kicked him in the shin. Caruso stumbled. His grip loosened. Sarah moved. She didn't think, didn't plan, just moved. She slammed into Caruso with every ounce of strength she had. They both went down. The children scrambled away. Caruso was bigger, stronger. He threw Sarah off like she weighed nothing. He reached for the gun in his jacket. A shot rang out. Caruso's hand exploded in a spray of red. He screamed. Santos stood 10 feet away, gun smoking. Don't move! Caruso clutched his ruined hand, blood pouring between his fingers. His face twisted with rage and pain. You think this is over? I have lawyers, judges, politicians. You can't touch me. Santos walked forward. Her eyes were ice. You're wrong. The files are already with the Attorney General. Federal indictments are being prepared as we speak. Every cop you bribed is under investigation. Every judge. Every politician. She stopped in front of him. Vincent Caruso, you are under arrest for human trafficking, murder racketeering, and about 40 other charges I'll think of on the way to prison. She handcuffed his ruined hand to his good one. He screamed again. Sarah ran to her children. She grabbed them both, pulling them close. It's okay. You're safe. Mommy's here. Emma was sobbing. Ethan was shaking. But they were alive. They were whole. Sarah looked at Caruso, at this monster who had haunted her nightmares, who had threatened to destroy everything she loved. He looked small now, pathetic, just a bleeding man in handcuffs. You lose, she said quietly. You lose and we win, and you're going to spend the rest of your miserable life in a cage. Caruso spat at her feet. This isn't over. Yes, it is. Santos pulled him to his feet. Sirens wailed in the distance, backup arriving. Sarah held her children and watched as they dragged Caruso away. For the first time in 8 months, she took a deep breath and felt free. Torres was alive. The bullet had grazed her skull, knocked her unconscious. but she was breathing when the paramedics loaded her into the ambulance. Sarah watched them close the doors. Emma and Ethan clung to her legs, still trembling. Santos approached, blood on her shirt, exhaustion in her eyes. "It's over," she said. "Caruso's in federal custody. His entire network is collapsing." Sarah nodded. She should feel relieved, happy, something. All she felt was empty. "The other women," she said. "The ones from the compound. What happens to them?" "They're being processed, reunited with families where possible, given new identities where necessary." Santos paused. "You saved them, Sarah. You and Stone. 12 women, 7 children, all alive because of what you did." Sarah looked down at her twins, their tear-stained faces, their shaking bodies. "I almost lost them. I almost lost everything. But you didn't. That's what matters." A car pulled up. Jake stepped out. His face was grim. "Sarah, we need to talk." Her heart dropped. "Stone on in, and he's awake, stable. Doctors say he'll make a full recovery." Relief flooded through her. "Thank God. But there's something else. Something he needs to tell you himself." "What?" "It's not my place. Just go see him when you can." Jake got back in the car and drove away. Sarah stared after him. What could Stone possibly need to tell her that Jake couldn't say Santos touched her arm? "I'll take you to the hospital after you get the kids settled." 3 hours later, Sarah walked back into County General. The twins were with Santos at a hotel. Safe, guarded, fed, bathed, finally sleeping without fear. Sarah took the elevator to the ICU. Her legs felt heavy, her mind raced with possibilities. Room 312, she pushed open the door. Stone was sitting up this time, still connected to machines, but his eyes were clear, alert. His brothers sat around the room like a protective wall. "Leave us," Stone said. Jake hesitated. "Brother, I said leave us." The bikers filed out. Jake was the last to go. He gave Sarah a long look before closing the door. Sarah approached the bed. "They said you wanted to talk." Stone nodded slowly. He patted the chair beside him. "Sit down." She sat. For a long moment, Stone just looked at her, studying her face, his expression unreadable. "There's something I didn't tell you," he finally said, "about why I helped you, why I went to that compound, why I nearly got myself killed for a woman I met 12 hours ago." Sarah waited. Stone took a deep breath. It sounded painful. 20 years ago, I had a wife, Rebecca. She was everything to me. We were trying to have kids. She was pregnant when she got diagnosed. Cancer, aggressive. The doctor said she had to choose between treatment and the baby. Sarah's chest tightened. "Stone." "She chose the baby, said she'd rather die giving life than live knowing she killed our child." His voice cracked. "She lasted 7 months, long enough to hold our daughter, long enough to name her." Tears streamed down Sarah's face. "I'm so sorry." "The baby was premature, weak. She lived 3 days. 3 days in an incubator while I watched every breath praying for one more. And then she was gone too." Stone's hands gripped the bedsheet. His knuckles were white. "I buried my wife and my daughter on the same day. I was 38 years old and I had nothing left." "Is that why you joined the Hells Angels?" "I was already a member, had been for years. But after Rebecca, I stopped caring about anything. Took the most dangerous jobs. Picked fights I couldn't win. I wanted to die, Sarah. Every day, for 5 years, I wanted to die." Sarah reached out and took his hand. He didn't pull away. "What changed?" "I found a reason to live, not for myself, for others, for people who had nobody else to fight for them." He looked at her. "When I saw you in that diner, I didn't just see a mother and her kids. I saw Rebecca. I saw the daughter I never got to raise. I saw everything I lost sitting in that corner booth trying to survive on $20. So you helped me because if I couldn't save my family, maybe I could save yours." Stone's voice dropped. "It doesn't make up for what I lost. Nothing ever will. But it gave me something to live for, something to fight for." Sarah squeezed his hand. "You did more than help me, Stone. You gave my children a future. You gave me hope when I had none. And you gave me something too. What? A reason to keep going, a reminder that the world isn't all darkness. He paused. I want to keep being part of their lives, yours and the kids, if you'll let me. Sarah didn't hesitate. They call you Uncle Marcus. They ask about you every day. They want you at birthday parties and school plays and everything in between. Stone almost smiled. I've never been to a school play. Then you're coming to Emma's. She's playing a tree in the spring musical. A tree. She's very excited about it. Stone laughed. It turned into a cough, but his eyes were bright. I'll be there. Front row. Sarah stood. She leaned down and kissed his forehead. Heel fast, Uncle Marcus. We're waiting for you. She walked to the door. Sarah, she turned. Your husband, David, what kind of man was he? Sarah thought for a moment. He was the kind of man who ran into burning buildings to save strangers. The kind of man who borrowed money he couldn't repay to make sure his children were healthy. The kind of man who always put others first. Stone nodded slowly. He would have liked me, I think. He would have loved you. She walked out. 3 weeks later, everything had changed. Caruso's trial made national news. Federal prosecutors laid out a case so airtight that even his expensive lawyers couldn't find cracks. 47 charges: human trafficking, murder, racketeering, conspiracy, corruption. Sarah testified for 2 days straight. She told them everything. The threats, the fear, the night in the diner, the terror of watching Caruso hold her children. When she stepped down from the stand, the courtroom was silent. Caruso glared at her with pure hatred. She didn't look away. I'm not afraid of you anymore, she said. Not loud, not dramatic, just the truth. The jury deliberated for 4 hours. Guilty, on all counts. Sentencing would come later, but everyone knew. Vincent Caruso would spend the rest of his life in a federal prison. No parole, no appeals, no escape. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed Sarah. She didn't answer their questions. She just walked to where Santos was waiting. You did it, Santos said. You took down the most dangerous trafficker in the state. We did it, all of us. But you started it. That night in the diner, you could have run, you could have hidden, you chose to fight. Sarah looked up at the sky, clear, blue, beautiful. I didn't feel brave. I felt terrified. That's what bravery is, being terrified and doing it anyway. A car pulled up, Jake behind the wheel, Stone in the passenger seat. Sarah's heart lifted. Stone looked different, still big, still scarred, but something in his eyes had changed. The darkness was still there, but it was lighter now, softer. He got out slowly, still healing, and walked toward her. Heard you destroyed him on the stand. I told the truth. That's all. Sometimes the truth is the most powerful weapon there is. They stood together, watching the reporters disperse. What happens now? Sarah asked. Now you rebuild. New home, new job, new life. And you, I'll be around for as long as you need me. Sarah took his hand. What if I need you forever? Stone looked at her. Something passed between them. Not romance, not love in the traditional sense. Something deeper. Something forged in fire and blood and shared survival. Then I'll be here forever. 2 months later, Sarah stood in front of a small house. It wasn't much. 3 bedrooms, a small yard, peeling paint on the shutters. But it was hers, really hers, paid for with money from the victim's compensation fund. The twins ran through the front door laughing. Mommy, I get the room with the window. No, I do. You can share, Sarah called after them. She stood on the porch, breathing in the spring air. The cherry tree in the front yard was blooming. Birds sang in the branches. A motorcycle rumbled down the street. Stone pulled into the driveway. He was fully healed now, though he walked with a slight limp that he said would never fully go away. Looks good, he said, studying the house. Needs work. Everything needs work. That's what makes it worth doing. The twins came running out. Uncle Marcus! They tackled him. He pretended to stumble, making them laugh. You two are getting too strong for me. Better watch out or you'll knock me down for real. Did you bring us something? Ethan asked. Stone reached into his jacket and pulled out 2 small boxes. What do you think? The twins tore them open. Inside each was a small silver pendant. A motorcycle. It's so cool, Emma shouted. Mom, look, it's like Uncle Marcus's bike. Sarah smiled. What do you say? Thank you, Uncle Marcus. They hugged him again, then ran inside to show each other their presents. Stone walked up to the porch, stood beside Sarah. You good, better than good. She paused. I got a job. Start next week. What kind of job? Nursing, same hospital where Torres recovered. They're short-staffed and my license is still valid. That's great. You'll be good at it, Ed. I hope so. It's been a while. They stood in comfortable silence. Santos called me this morning, Stone said. About what? Danny Russo's sister. Maria. They found her. Sarah's breath caught. Alive. Alive. In New York, like the files said. Her daughter, too. They're coming home next week. Tears welled in Sarah's eyes. Oh my God. Danny's a mess. Can't stop crying. But the good kind. Stone smiled. He asked me to thank you. For everything. I didn't do anything. You're the one who got him to talk. You're the one who testified, who made sure Caruso went down. Without you, none of it happens. Sarah wiped her eyes. How many people did we save total? From the Compound 19. From the network after it collapsed. The FBI thinks over 40. Women and children who were about to be trafficked. Gone instead. 40. At least. Sarah shook her head. I walked into that diner with $20. I just wanted to feed my kids. And now 40 people are free because of you. That's how it works. One small act, one moment of courage, it ripples out, changes everything. Like the stranger who bought you dinner. 40 years ago. Stone nodded. Exactly like that. They watched the sun set behind the cherry tree. I have something for you, Stone said. He reached into his jacket and pulled out an envelope. Sarah took it, opened it. Inside was a check, $20,000, made out to Sarah Mitchell. She stared at it. Stone, I can't. It's not charity, it's back pay. Back pay. The club's auto shop needs an office manager. You've been doing the job for 2 months already. Filing, scheduling, keeping the books straight. This is what you earned. I did that because I wanted to help. And now you're being paid for it. Fair's fair. Sarah looked at the check, thought about what it meant. Stability, security, a future. Thank you, she said quietly, for everything. Don't thank me. Just keep showing up. Keep fighting. Keep being the mother those kids deserve. I will. Stone headed back to his motorcycle. Same time next week, he asked. Dinner's at 6. Don't be late. Never. He rode away. Sarah watched until he disappeared around the corner. Inside, the twins were still playing. Their laughter echoed through the empty rooms that would soon be filled with furniture and memories in life. Sarah stood on her porch, her home. 1 year ago, she had nothing. No money, no hope, no future. Now she had everything that mattered. A job, a home, her children, a family she had never expected to find. All because a stranger in a diner saw a woman in pain and chose to help. 6 months later, Christmas Eve arrived again. Sarah stood in the kitchen pulling a turkey from the oven. The house smelled like warmth and spices and everything good. The twins were decorating the tree, arguing about where to put the angel. It goes on top. The star goes on top. The angel goes on the saw. That doesn't make sense, Sarah smiled. Some things never changed. A knock at the door. I'll get it. Ethan ran to the door and threw it open. Stone stood on the porch. Behind him were Jake Ray and 3 other bikers, all of them carrying wrapped presents. Merry Christmas, Stone said. The twins tackled him. A Christmas tradition now. The bikers filed in, dropping presents under the tree, shaking snow from their jackets. Something smells amazing, Jake said. Turkey, mashed potatoes, gravy, the works. Sarah wiped her hands on her apron. There's enough for everyone. You didn't have to cook for all of us. Yes, I did. She said it simply, firmly, because it was true. These men had saved her life. They had become her family. The least she could do was feed them. They sat around the dining room table, Stone at one end, Sarah at the other. The twins between them, surrounded by bikers who looked terrifying, but pass the rolls like gentlemen. Grace, Stone asked. Everyone bowed their heads. Sarah spoke. Thank you for this food. Thank you for this family. Thank you for second chances and new beginnings. Thank you for the stranger who helped us when no one else would. And thank you for bringing us all together. Amen. Amen, everyone echoed. Then they ate. After dinner, Sarah found herself on the porch again. The night was cold but clear. Stars everywhere. Stone joined her. Good Christmas, he asked. The best. In a long time. Kids are happy. Kids are safe. That's all that matters. They stood in silence. Comfortable. Familiar. I got a call today, Stone said. From Santos. About what? They found the last of Caruso's partners. A businessman in Chicago ran a similar operation, linked to the same network. And they arrested him this morning, whole thing's falling apart, the entire network, coast to coast. Sarah closed her eyes. How many people is that now? FBI estimates over 100, rescued, returned to their families. 100. Because of what you did, what we did, that night in the diner. Sarah shook her head. It doesn't feel real. A year ago, I was counting dollars for soup. Now you're a hero. I'm not a hero. I'm just a mom who got lucky. Lucky, Stone turned to face her. Sarah, you stood up to a monster. You risked your life to save strangers. You testified against one of the most dangerous criminals in the country. That's not luck. That's courage. I learned it from you. No, you had it all along. I just helped you see it. The door opened. Emma poked her head out. Mommy, Uncle Marcus were opening presents. Coming, baby. Sarah took Stone's arm. They walked inside together. The living room was chaos. Wrapping paper everywhere. Kids laughing. Bikers arguing about who gave the best gifts. It was loud. Messy. Perfect. Sarah sat on the couch, Emma on one side, Ethan on the other. Stone sat across from them, watching with a smile that reached his eyes. Mommy, oh, Ethan said, holding up a new toy. This is the best Christmas ever. Yeah, Emma agreed. Even better than the one when Daddy was here. Sarah's heart clenched, but it wasn't painful this time. Just bittersweet. Your daddy would be happy, she said. He'd be so proud of both of you. He'd be proud of you too, Mom, Ethan said. You saved all those people. We all did, together. Stone raised his glass of eggnog. To family, the one we're born with and the one we choose. Everyone raised their glasses. To family, they drank. Later that night, after the bikers had left and the twins were asleep, Shira stood at her bedroom window. She thought about David, about the life they had planned, the dreams that had died with him. She thought about the diner, about the $20 that had seemed like everything and nothing. She thought about Stone, about the stranger who had become family, and she thought about the 100 people out there sleeping safely tonight because of a chain of events that started with a bowl of soup. She pulled out her phone, scrolled to a photo. David, smiling at the camera, Emma and Ethan on his shoulders. We made it, she whispered. I don't know how, but we made it. She kissed the screen, set the phone down, then she walked to the twins' room. Stood in the doorway, watched them sleep, safe, warm, loved, everything she had ever wanted for them. Tomorrow she would go back to work. She would keep building, keep growing, keep fighting. But tonight she was just a mother, watching her children dream. And for the first time in a very long time, she really knew that everything was going to be okay. 1 year later, on a cold December morning, Sarah walked into Rosie's diner. The place looked the same cracked vinyl booths, same flickering Christmas lights, same smell of coffee and bacon. Rosa was behind the counter. Older now, grayer, but her eyes lit up when she saw Sarah. Oh my God, it's you, Sarah smiled. It's me. Rosa came around the counter and hugged her tight. I saw you on the news, the trial, everything. I couldn't believe it. That woman from the diner, the one with the twins, that was me. And the biker, the one who helped you. Stone, he's family now. Rosa's eyes filled with tears. I think about that night all the time, when you ordered that one soup for your kids. I wanted to help. I wanted to say something, but I was scared. I'm so sorry. Don't be. You didn't do anything wrong. I didn't do anything at all. That's the problem. Sarah took her hand. You can do something now. What? Every year on Christmas Eve, I want to pay for someone's meal. A family in need. Someone who's struggling. The way I was. Rose's face changed. Hope. Understanding. You want to? I want to start a tradition. Here. At this diner. Where everything changed. Rosa squeezed her hand. I'll match whatever you give. Every year. As long as I'm alive. Thank you. They hugged again. Sarah walked to the corner booth. The same one where she had sat with her twins 2 years ago. The same one where she had counted her last $20. She sat down. Rosa brought her coffee. Black, just how she liked it. On the house, Rosa said. Sarah smiled. I can pay now. I know, that's why it's on the house. The door opened. Stone walked in. Behind him, Emma and Ethan, now 8 years old. Bigger, stronger, happier. Mommy, we found the diner. They ran to her, piled into the booth. Stone sat across from them. His eyes met Sarah's. You okay? I'm perfect. And she meant it. They ordered breakfast, real breakfast. Pancakes, bacon, eggs, hot chocolate with extra whipped cream. The same meal Stone had bought them 2 years ago. The meal that had started everything. When the food came, Ethan looked at it with wide eyes. This is where it happened, in fact, where Uncle Marcus helped us. That's right. And where you slapped the bad man. Sarah laughed. Yes, that too. Emma looked around the diner. It's smaller than I remember. You were smaller. Now you're bigger. That makes everything else seem small. Stone raised his coffee cup. To new beginnings. They all raised their cups. To new beginnings. They ate, they laughed, they remembered. And when they were done, Sarah walked to the counter. She handed Rosa a check. $5,000. Rosa's eyes went wide. Sarah, for families who need it, every Christmas Eve, for as long as this diner exists. Rosa stared at the check, then at Sarah, then she burst into tears. You don't have to do this. I know, that's why I want to. Sarah hugged her one more time. Then she walked out into the cold December morning. Stone was waiting by his motorcycle. The twins were already in the car arguing about what to do next. Ready, he asked. Ready. They walked toward their vehicles. Halfway there, Sarah stopped. Stone, he turned. Thank you. For everything. For that first night. For every night since. For being there when I had nothing and no one. Stone looked at her. His ice blue eyes were warm now, soft. You had something, Sarah. You always did. You just needed someone to help you see it. What did I have? Strength, courage, love, the things that matter. He paused. The things money can't buy. The things no one can take away. Sarah nodded. She understood now. That night in the diner, she had walked in with $20. She had walked out with a future, not because of the meal, not because of the money, because someone had seen her, really seen her, and chosen to help. That was the gift. That was the miracle. And now every Christmas Eve, she would pass it on. One meal, one family, one moment of kindness, rippling out forever. Sarah climbed into her car, started the engine, pulled out of the parking lot. In the rearview mirror, she saw Stone on his motorcycle watching her go. He raised his hand, a wave, a salute, a promise. She waved back. Then she drove toward home. Behind her, the sun rose over Rosie's diner. A new day, a new year, a new beginning. And somewhere in a corner booth, a struggling family would sit down to eat. They wouldn't know where the meal came from. They wouldn't know the story behind it. But they would feel what Sarah had felt 2 years ago, hope. Because that's what kindness does. It saves lives. It changes futures. It reminds us that no matter how dark the night morning always comes. And sometimes the light we need most comes from a stranger with scars and secrets, a stranger on a motorcycle, a stranger who looks like danger but acts like salvation. Sarah Mitchell learned that lesson on a cold Christmas Eve with $20 in her pocket and 2 hungry children at her side. She never forgot it, and neither will anyone who hears her story. Because kindness isn't just an act, it's a legacy, it's a promise. It's proof that one person in one moment can change everything. And Sarah Mitchell, the poor mother from the diner, became living proof of that truth. She survived, she fought, she won, and she spent the rest of her life making sure others could do the same. That is not just a story, that is a life well lived.